I will be forever the myth.
You're the king of kings,
There's always a pecking order. The little packers never mess with the big packers. So I'm a rooster, and he's a chicken, so to speak.
All right, welcome back to the Bodybuilding Legends Podcast. I have a very special guest with me today, Mr. Ron Love, one of the greatest professional bodybuilders during the 1980s. Ron was the 1985 heavyweight nationals champion, and then he went on to win the Pro World Championships and also the Niagara Falls, and he was a big staple in the Mr. Olympia for many years. Ron, thanks for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's always great to talk to a legend like yourself.
I'm a legend now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I guess so, since they made me a so-called Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ron, we always start at the beginning. So if you could tell us how you got into bodybuilding. I know you were a police officer, and then that kind of led into getting into the bodybuilding field, right?
Yeah, that's how it happened. And how it happened was that at the time, I had never lifted weights before, through high school, through college or whatever. Played a few years of professional baseball, and I was always just an athlete.
Okay.
But when I got on the job, as far as being a police officer, I started working different units, and I started working this narcotic unit.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was in narcotics, we get attacked by a couple of guys who are so-called, I call it coon hunting. That night they saw me and my crew hanging out, and they didn't know that we were police officers. They just knew that we were black, and
Okay.
they approached us while we were getting in a vehicle and rode up on us about 3:30 in the morning on 10-speed bicycles. I wonder why these guys out this time of night with 10-speed bicycles.
Wow.
And then I was getting in the vehicle, and while I was bending over, the guy says, "Hey, man." I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He says, "We don't like niggas in the neighborhood, I said, "Well, I don't know no niggas in this neighborhood." Something like that. But I said a few things,
Right.
And after I got through talking, they pulled out guns and started shooting,
Wow.
Yeah, it was a real devastating moment. I had been in Detroit all my life and had some type of confusions like that, but never to the point where they were trying to take your life,
Yeah.
And I'm sure if they knew we were the police, they probably wouldn't have done it.
Right.
But they didn't know that. But
so you ended up getting shot then in that.
yeah, I wound up getting shot in the leg.
Okay.
And what happened was during the time I was disabled, I picked up weight because, when I got shot, I was only 200 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had never weighed over 200 pounds in my life.
Wow.
So,
Did you have a fast metabolism, Ron, when you were younger?
yeah, I had a good metabolism. And one of the coaches, one of my baseball coaches was always telling me that, "Yeah, Ron, you got the physique. You should be a bodybuilder."
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at it like it was crazy. Bodybuilding. Because the only thing I could think about bodybuilding during that time was wearing these doggone panties, So, I was a little hardcore back then, but I never thought it would happen.
Wow.
I never even thought about it, but I gained that weight, and I healed up, and I need to get back to work.
Okay.
There's no way I could go back to work if I couldn't fit my uniform.
Yeah.
I wasn't going straight back to narcotics at that time, so I started trying to find a place to work out, and I found this one place, and I like I said before, I saw a guy, man, that I thought just looked unbelievable, man. I never saw a guy I'd never been that close to a so-called bodybuilder.
At the gym. Okay.
At the gym, yeah. And
you remember his name?
His name was I was just asking about the last time, and I remember his name now and forgot it again. But I got his name from the front desk, and I ran it and found out he had been locked up for 20 years.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
20 years. But this guy was amazing, man. I mean,
Wow.
I've never seen a guy look like that in person. And
did he compete too, or he was just a big?
He said he had competed in the show, and he showed me this little piece of paper that he had competed in one of the shows in right here in Michigan in Dearborn.
Okay.
And but I never saw anything else about it. But he passed us off like that, and I was just I mean, when I say I was amazed, I was just amazed. I'd never seen anybody look like that in person.
Yeah.
You know, and I asked him one day, could I train with him? And he looks at me. He looks at me up and down from toe to top of my head. Because I said to him, because I called him my man. I said, my man, you know, you think I could train with you? He said, well, first of all, I ain't your man. I said, man, I said, well, I don't mean it like that, bro. You know, you ain't my type. You know. So, and he looked at me up and down. Next thing I know, he turned around and walked away. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Maybe I don't want to train with this dude. You know, I'm saying, this guy's crazy. So for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm coming to the gym, but I keep watching him out of the corner of my eye, watching me. I guess he was trying to figure out what I was doing there.
Right.
Or if I was the type of person that he was really willing to work with, you know.
Right.
And one day I'm on the bench because I was always pretty strong when I started on the bench.
Okay.
I could automatically do like 315 pounds when I first started, when I first tried it.
Okay.
Yeah. And he looked me up. And so I'm on the bench and he leans over and he says, yeah. I said, yeah, what do I mean by yeah? then I had to think back. Oh, yeah, that's the first thing I asked him.
Yeah, he said your question from 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. So, John, I busted out laughing. I couldn't believe it. I said, I can't believe this guy gave me this kind of answer 3 weeks later.
Right.
But you know, John, it was the best move I've ever made because this guy took me under his wing. And when I say he kicked my ass every day.
Wow.
I mean, he took me to the limit. And then he made me buy this banana pudding pie from his mama every day for $5. They said you got all kind of carbs in it, you got all kind of protein in it. I was eating banana pudding pie, and we was walking around drinking large containers of non-fat milk every day while we trained.
Wow.
He had an unbelievable method. I mean, I ain't never tried that with nobody else though. But I thank him to this day because he was a blessing in my life, man. He really was.
How long did you train with him?
For about 2 years.
2 years. Wow. So your physique obviously really developed during that time, right?
It really did. It really did. You know, and then this is how I started competing though. This guy, I'm walking out of the gym one day. He said, man, you really improved. He said, you should think about competing. I said, think about competing where? He said, in the bodybuilding show. I said, man, I told him just like I did to the wife, man, I ain't getting on no stage with no panties on, all the kind of crazy stuff these guys doing these days. And he looks at me and started laughing. And I said, man, don't be laughing at me like that. Don't laugh at me like that. Then he dared me. He said, I dare you to do the show. I dare you to do the show. Now, you know, what as I do, you don't want to be dared, and I don't want to be dared. So you know I had to do the show. Okay. So here I asked the guy to show me how to get ready for a show. But he didn't really know how to do that because, you know, he developed his physique being locked up.
Yeah, right.
You know, so he lived this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I asked a few questions here, a few questions there, and I got in some pretty good shape. And I entered the show, and there was 50 guys in my class. Back then, it was the AAU. There was no NPC.
Yeah.
During that time. And I stepped on stage, and when I walked out there, everybody started screaming and hollering. And then I had to remember why I stepped on stage, you know. So I just started posing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, you know. But it was really nice for the crowd to show me some type of nice reception, you know.
Yeah.
And when they call out the placings in my class, I took ninth. I took ninth out of 50 people. It was 50 people in the class.
Wow. Yeah, the shows were so big back then, right?
Yes, they were huge.
Yeah.
And after I did it the first time, I said, man, for some reason, it gave me this itch, you know, because I wanted to see if I could do better.
Yeah.
I got ready.
Plus, you got a great reception, too.
Yes, got a great reception.
What was the name of that show, Ron? Do you remember?
Was what now?
What was the name of that contest?
That was the Michigan Bodybuilding Championships.
Oh, the state championships. Okay.
That was the state championships.
Wow.
It surely was. In fact, I never competed in a different show until I won that one.
Oh, okay. You kept doing that one. Okay.
I kept doing that one because I went back to next year and took ninth again, you know.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And every year.
How did your physique look back then in that first show?
You know what? I can't even remember. But I guess I must have looked okay.
I mean, did you have pretty good size at that time?
Decent size.
Yeah.
But like I said before, you know, even when I was doing playing the baseball and the football, I had a pretty decent physique, you know, just genetically wise. Because my dad had phenomenal genetics, man.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yes, he did. He really did, man. Yeah. In fact, that's how I just keep all the guys off of me. I said, man, y'all mess with me, I'm gonna call my dad. You know, and he would come across the block with me and my fellas, and they saw him. Everybody ran.
Wow.
He was a tough dude.
Yeah.
He was a tough dude. My dad is one of the reasons why I'm here today, because, you know, when they first put drugs on the street, me and my fellas tried to find out how to do it. So we was on the street called Brisbois and Mac, and we got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So I was hanging out there one day with my fellas. It was 12 of us. My game was called the 12s.
Okay.
It was 12 of us. And we stood out there. So I'm out on Mac and Brisbois. That was a dangerous area. I lived about 2 blocks from there, though. So my dad drives up, and he sees me standing on the corner. He gets out the car, and he said, boy, what you doing out here? I said, Dad, I'm just hanging out here with my fellas. Yo, fellas? You ain't got no fellas. Only fella you got is me. And I said, Dad, it ain't like that. He says, it's like I say it is. So my dad grabs me by the collar.
Wow.
Looks down the street at the rest of my fellas, and he did this. He pointed at each one of them. And then my dad looks at me and he points at me. Then he takes that big hand and that big hand he had, and he hits me in the nose, breaks my nose, breaks my jaw, breaks a couple of my teeth.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then he pointed at my guys again. All of them ran. Because I knew all their dads. None of their dads were like my dad. My dad, and actually my dad's best friend. You remember Barry Gordy with the Temptations?
Sure, yeah.
Yes. With Motown?
Yeah.
That was my dad's best friend. They grew up together.
Wow.
Yes, that was a blessing in disguise.
How old were you when this happened, Ron?
I was about 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was about 15 when this happened. But you know what? My dad saved my life, because if he hadn't done that, no telling where I'd have wound up at.
Yeah.
So
what did your dad do for a living?
Well, he's passed away. He was working at the factory at Chrysler.
Okay.
And he always thought I should have worked at Chrysler too when I was going to college, when I was playing ball. Because, you know, when I got my pro card, he tells me, John, see, if you'd have worked at Chrysler like I told you would, you'd have been one of those guys who's making commercials with him. I told my dad, I ain't seen a black guy doing a commercial yet with Chrysler. What do you mean?
What made you want to become a police officer?
I played down in Lakeland, Florida for 3 years, man. I got involved. This story is crazy, but it's the truth. I came home. One of my best friends who was in Vietnam, who had been in Vietnam at the time, he came to me and introduced me to this lady. And me and this lady got involved. But he failed to tell me some of the stories. He didn't tell me that this lady he introduced me to was his mother's. I mean, he was a mother of his child.
Yeah.
It's a crazy story, man. but
so this guy who introduced you to this lady, he had a kid with this same lady.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what? And he was my best friend.
Oh, really?
Yes. Where do you find best friends like that? But and I told her I didn't want to have any kids. But you know, I mean, we got busy and she had a kid.
Okay.
Had a son. So when I had the son, I had thought about, now I got to get a job.
Oh,
I wasn't taking a chance going back down and playing ball.
right.
So what happened was that I was out shopping one day and I went to Hudson's, and they had this recruiting van sitting in front of Hudson's, because at that time they were trying to hire more black police officers in Detroit.
Oh wow, it's kind of like meant to be or something.
Yeah, and I was kind of like this black guy who kept walking past this van, and these black officers kept asking, "Come on, son, come on, join the police department."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Man, I don't want to be no police officer." But every time I would walk back towards them, they would hit me up.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped and filled out the application. So they told me when to show up to take the test. And the day when the test came along, I didn't show up. 2 days later, they was at my house knocking on my door.
Damn, they wanted you.
Yeah, they wanted me because they do a background check, and if you're a pretty good student, and they thought I would make a good police officer, I guess. And so I went and took the test, passed the test. So now they scheduled me for the police academy.
Okay.
So first day of police academy, guess what? I didn't show up. I didn't show up the second day, the third day, the fourth day. Next thing I know, they at my front door again.
Yeah.
They said, "Son, what we got to do to get you started?"
Right.
So they rescheduled me for the police academy. And I went, and I went through the academy. Next thing I know, I was a police officer.
Wow.
And that's how it happened to become a police officer.
What did you get your degree in college?
You never degree. You never decide. Athletics, of course.
Okay.
Trying to learn every game so I could be a coach.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so many of the games I hated. I hated soccer. I hated anything that didn't have a baseball in it, except for football. Yeah. I was pretty good at basketball too, though. But
how did you do in baseball? You never were you good enough? You weren't good enough to get to the pros?
Well, I got signed. I got drafted out of high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who'd you play for?
I played for Denby High School.
Okay.
Denby High School. I went to Southeastern first for my first semester, but I got recruited for coaches when I played on the Sandlocks, who were coaching in Sandlocks, but they were coaches at Denby High School.
Okay.
And they recruited me to come to Denby, because Denby at that time was an all-white school.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other guys that I knew in my neighborhood, they went to Denby too, so I decided to sign up and go myself.
Okay.
It was a great move, I pitched.
Then you played baseball in college too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played baseball in college. I also got looked at while I was in college, but I got drafted out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I was a left-handed pitcher. I got signed as a left-handed pitcher, and went down to Lakeland, Florida, and played down there for 3 years.
Oh, okay. So that's why you're on Lakeland. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was a unbelievable time, because that time they still had white and black water fountains, which I had never seen before.
Yeah, right. And especially in Florida, right? In the South.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the experience because I was an athlete,
Right.
The last thing I ever thought I would become would be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, right.
But it's amazing what God sets up for you.
Yeah, how about it? How it all works out.
Yes.
So you ended up winning the Michigan championships in '82 then, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That was the first year with the NPC, right? And that's when the NPC started?
That was the first NPC show here in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many times did you have to do the Michigan championships before you won it?
2 times.
2 times? Oh, okay.
2 times, yeah.
Ninth, and then you won it?
Yeah. Well, you got to realize it was different with the NPC than it was with the AAU.
Oh, okay.
The AAU they went by height.
Yeah.
The NPC, they went by weight. So everything changed, as far as class.
Okay.
And the second time I took it, well, the first time I took it, a guy came from up in Pontiac, and I never seen a guy look like that. When he walked in, he took his clothes off, went to weigh in. Everybody said, "Woo, whoa," like that. And all I could think about, John, was that when I went into next year, I want everybody to say the same thing about me. Then I know I won.
What was that guy's name? Do you remember?
Yeah. His name was man, what was his name? I'm not pretty good on names today for some reason. but he was more of a middleweight, but he was
good physique though.
Yeah, great physique. And he was the first black guy who had won the state championships.
Oh, really? Okay.
All other times people won, they were different nationality.
Right.
But he was kind of amazing at the time. But I promised myself that if I ever went up against him again, I would beat him.
Yeah.
And the next year, when I stepped in the auditorium and I got on, and I took my stuff off, and stepped up on the scale, everybody was saying, "Woo, woo." First thing I thought, I'm gonna win, and I won.
Yeah.
And from that day forth, it was on, because from that day forth, I dedicated myself to getting to the point where I was gonna get a pro card.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask you. So you had that in mind? You were gonna work for the pro card. Okay.
And what happened was that a few years later, that was in 80, was that 85?
85.
Yeah, it was 85. I went down to Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah.
And I did the Junior USA.
So you did the 82 Nationals too, right? The one that Lee Haney won?
No.
Okay, I'm looking at this.
No, in 82, I won the Michigan in 82.
Yeah, just the Michigan. That was it.
Just the Michigan.
Okay.
But I went down a few.
What was your first national level show you did?
The Junior USA down in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, that was your first one?
That was my first one.
Okay, all right.
And I went down there and
won that
against everybody else, because everybody said, "Man, you can't win that show." Well, I don't know why you're going down there, but I'd already paid my fee, already paid for the hotel, already paid everything I had to pay. I said, "Well, no, if I lose, I lose."
Yeah.
So I go down there and I'm standing in the doorway, and who do I see? Rachel McLish.
Oh, wow. My favorite.
I got my, tell me about it. And I got my tank top on, I got my shorts on. Yeah. And she looks at me, she says, "Oh my God, you look fantastic. You're gonna win the show."
Wow.
That's what she said to me.
Okay.
But but I had already heard I can't win the show,
Yeah,
so I got that in my mind. So she comes back a few minutes later and knocks on my door. And she says, "Do you have a video? Do you have a recorder so I can practice my posing?" Man, I couldn't get to, I was looking every place to get this, because I got Rachel McLish at my front door.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I mean, she was just beautiful, amazing. Oh my God. And I got that, and she said she would bring it back. But when she brought it back, she says, "Would you like to have lunch with me?"
Wow.
Lunch. I said, "Lunch?" I said, "Is that all?" So we actually had lunch.
No kidding.
John, yes, in her room, John.
Wow.
So what happened was that we talked, boom, boom, boom. And then she asked me, "Well, how's your routine?" And I said, "I think my routine is pretty good." She said, "I'd like to see it." I said, "Really?" So I dashed like I don't know what, going to my room. I got into my posing trunks, and I came back to her room, and I went through my posing routine. And she said she really liked it. And I said, "You really liked it?" I said, "If you like mine, I like to like yours." So she actually got dressed. This is the first time I told this story to anybody. Okay. Just between me and you. but she posed for me. Wow. She looked fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And we just hit it off as friends. I mean, I thought she was one of the most unbelievable people I've ever met. She was so nice.
Yeah.
And she made me feel comfortable about getting ready to step on stage.
Yeah. You had to feel great by the time you got on stage, right?
Great ain't the word. And guess who was there? Ronnie Coleman was there.
Really? Yeah.
You remember The Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah, sure.
He was in that show.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Show. Wow.
He was in that show.
I'm kidding.
And I kept hearing that I wasn't going to win. But when I went to the pre-judge and went to the show, when they called out first place, I won first place and plus overall.
Yeah. Wow. What was Rachel doing? Was she guest posing?
Yeah, she guest posed.
Okay.
She was there guest posing, also Tom Platz.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because Tom Platz is from here originally.
Yeah, Michigan, right? Yeah, he trained at the Powerhouse. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he trained at the Powerhouse. Yes.
Yeah, that Powerhouse got great history. I had Samir there, right, and Tom Platz, and
me and Samir used to train together.
Oh, really?
You didn't know that?
No.
I used to pick. Samir used to train at Chrysler. I used to pick him up every day from his house to come here
That's
and
right.
train.
That was the job he got when he first moved to America, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to pick him up from his house in Dearborn and bring him here to train.
Wow.
And that's how I met Samir.
How did he look back then?
He looked amazing, man.
Did he really? Yeah.
He looked amazing. He was doing so many unorthodox movements though.
Oh,
but
really?
he was getting it done.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so impressed with Samir.
He
What a hothead.
Didn't he win Mr. Michigan one time?
He won Mr. Michigan. When he won Mr. Michigan, he moved from here. And when we moved from here, the next thing I was hearing that he had got his pro card.
Yeah. So would you say he was a hothead too?
Ooh, he's a hothead. but here in Detroit, you need to be a hothead.
Yeah.
and even while we was on the circuit, boy, he used to getting so much stuff with the judges, with the promoters and everybody else. But we was straight, because we was cool.
Right.
He was my little dog. We were good friends.
Right.
I got a lot of love for him. Yeah.
He's a great guy. I like.
He's a great guy.
So then you go to the Nationals that same year, right? And that was in Miami.
Yeah. Well, when I did the show in Texas, the people who promoted that show, they wanted to sponsor me.
Oh, okay.
So they called me and said, Ron, we'd love to sponsor you for getting ready for the Nationals. I said, well, it's okay. So made a little deal. I took a little 3 months leave of absence from the job.
Okay.
They brought me down. And but when I got there, when I got off the plane, they wanted me to sign a contract. I said, I'm still an amateur. Why would I sign a contract?
Right.
So the deal kind of went a little funky, but I wasn't going back home. I didn't already put all this together, so I'm going to stay there.
Yeah.
So I met a few guys, and we kind of got together, and they just started showing me around, and we just hooked up. And I got so much support from so many of the guys there,
Yeah.
because they saw the show when I competed there.
The junior.
The Junior USA, yeah. And I started training and getting ready for the Nationals. And it went well. It went really well. But then what happened was that I ran out of money.
Oh, okay.
So I had to find a way to get more money to stay.
Uh-huh.
So I called my favorite aunt down back in Detroit. And that's my Aunt Norris. I love her to death. I still love her to death because she had my back. Her and my mom had my back all the way.
Yeah.
She asked me how much I needed. And the show is going to be in about 4 weeks. And I said, I need maybe at least a couple of $1,000, and she sent it to me. But as she sent it to me, she says, I'm going to send you this. And she says, but are you going to win the show? I said, I know it. I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
And so I went on, continued to do what I needed to do to get ready for the show.
Uh-huh.
And when it was time for me to fly to Miami, I'm thinking, oh my God, I done did this, I done did that. How is this going to turn out?
Yeah.
And when I got there and got off the plane, guess who was there waiting on me?
Who?
My aunt.
Oh, no kidding. She was there in Miami.
She was there in Miami to support me.
Wow.
That's what you call love from your family, man. And
yeah, man, that's
went
great.
to the show, and I really thought I was on point.
Yeah. Now, were you favored to win the heavyweight, or were there other guys who were more favored? Because remember in the magazines, they used to always pick out who they thought was going to win that year.
Yeah. Well, the only show that everybody had saw me at was the Junior USA.
Okay.
And when I done the Junior USA, when I came back to Detroit, Big Norm and Big Will, who owns Powerhouse, they were saying, man, everybody was talking about you, Ron. They was talking about, who is this? They said, you one of the most conditioned heavyweights they ever seen.
Yeah.
This type of thing.
Yeah.
So, so that made my head a little swell a little bit. So it made me feel more confident.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I actually thought that Williams, he looked good.
Phil Williams, yeah.
Phil Williams looked good. He looked good. He was well conditioned.
Yeah.
Good physique.
Yeah, yeah.
But I ain't never thought he should beat me.
Oh, really?
And then you had little Labrada.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't never thought he should have beat me, do you?
Right.
But we met.
You thought you should have won that overall that year at the Nationals?
Well, it was tight. I mean, it was hard to say. You know, I thought I came in great condition. I was happy that I won my class.
Oh yeah, that's a big honor.
Because that prepared me for the universe. You know.
Right. Yeah. So tell me about that trip. So you go over to Sweden now for the Mr.
Yes.
Yeah.
And John, there's no way I should have lost the heavyweight class. I don't care what nobody say.
I've got that show on tape.
What's that now?
I've got that show on tape. I agree with you.
Yeah. I should have won that. There's no way.
You got third, right?
I got third.
Yeah.
And the guy they put second from Sweden, no way he should have beat me.
Right, Ulf Bengtstein. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But it was so political.
Yeah.
I mean, because one of the MCs, which was what's the pro? He commentated.
Chris Dickerson?
Chris Dickerson.
Yeah.
And Chris Dickerson said, there's no way. I said, there's no way anybody should have beat Ron Love in the heavyweight division.
Yeah. I thought you were bigger and more cut than both of those guys would beat you.
I was on point. I was on point for that show. And
it seemed like the Germans did really well that year because Peter Hensel from Germany.
Peter Hensel. Yeah, because
Joseph Gromulus from Germany beat out Phil Williams.
Yeah.
I thought Phil could have beat him too, you know.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It was just so political, I think. So political.
Yeah.
They want to, but you know, they always want to beat the Americans, you know.
Yeah.
What can I say?
So Finland picks up 4, but I'm not sure that's what the cheering is for, because
the cheering is for Larson. The fact that he's still in there, he's definitely going to be in the top 3. The least he could do now is 3rd place, the man from Sweden, the host country to this event. And he's happy. You can be sure.
Och nu ska vi förstärka kadern av prisutdelare här.
Let's get worse.
Det är Joe, Ben och Betty som ska vara med och dela ut medaljerna. Joe, Ben och Betty Wader. Medals will be awarded by Joe, Ben and Betty Wader. Ja, medaljen. 3 och bronsmedaljör. 3rd and winner of the bronze medal, Ron Love, USA.
Wow.
Big upset.
That's a shocker.
That is a real shocker. And look at this. The crowd going crazy. Can Larson win it? Only Peter Hensel from Germany stands in his way. He can't believe it.
They can't believe it, neither one of them.
This is a big upset. Ron Love.
Say that.
All right, who's it going to be, Larson or Hensel? If you let the crowd decide, it's no contest.
It would definitely be Larson.
Larson's shy.
But I remember you did the interview after the show with Rick Wayne, and you said, "I'm going pro."
Yeah.
What's next? I'm going pro.
I said, I'm going pro. Because he's talking about, you coming back next year? I said, you crazy? I ain't coming back this next year.
Well, a bit of an upset for Ron Love. And Rick Wayne had a chance to visit with him.
Ron, I was in Miami when you pulled that big surprise and winning the class, and you cried because everybody thought you weren't there and you didn't think you were there either. All of a sudden you were there. You must have felt real great that night.
I sure did. In fact, it was unbelievable. I still can't believe I'm here now.
And you came out here and everybody was riding on you. Everybody thought he's going to take it for us, but you didn't quite make it. You got 3rd. How do you feel about it?
Well, I compete against some great competitors. And, hey, the best man wins.
Were you happy with the shape you were in?
Yes. Can always be better, but I was happy with what I've done. It's my 4th contest this year, and I peaked in 3 of them. So,
what's your next stop?
I'm going pro.
You're going pro?
I'm going pro.
Good luck, Ron.
Okay, thank you.
Very gracious, Ron Love. All right.
And then after that, I got ready for, in between you and that's when I came home. You got to realize I was a police officer.
Yeah.
So, so I was totally natural. And between you and I, a few people would tell me, so now, Ron, you got to get on the juice.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some pictures in the gym. And I said, man, look at that picture up there. Don't I look like some of them other pros? I did. That's exactly what I said. I don't think I need that.
Yeah.
But a couple of people took me to see this doctor, a few ways down, and
right.
they set me down with him, And he talked to me about this. He taught me about that. He told me about this. But I said, man, I think I worked hard enough where I don't have to do that,
Mm-hmm.
And because I had never taken anything. And so this talked to me about 6-7 hours to convince me that I would be okay. I mean, because it wasn't really against the law at that time,
Right, yeah.
But also, too, I was thinking about health-wise.
Oh, okay.
But he convinced me that if I describe this for you, you'll be okay.
Okay.
So by the time I left his office, he had gave me some Anavar, he gave me some Deca, and he gave me some tests.
Okay.
And he set me on a little program for that. But when I did it, when I got ready for the Night of Champions.
Night of Champions in '86, yeah.
Yeah, in '86. And when I got ready, taking this product, I didn't see any difference. I really didn't. No, I didn't see no difference at all because I was already pretty conditioned. I was in great shape already,
Right.
And but I was kind of disappointed at that show too, because
Lee Labrada won.
Yeah, Lee Labrada shouldn't have beat me that show.
But you got second though, right? So that's good for your first pro show.
I got second he beat me by 1 point.
Did he really? Wow.
By 1 point. But you know what? The next year, did the Night of Champions again. I took third.
Right.
But then we went to the Pro World Championships in Essen, Germany.
Yeah, you beat Labrada.
I beat Labrada. Yes. But Labrada was my dog too. I love Labrada because I had met him before. I did a mixed pairs show.
Oh, did you? Yeah, those were popular back then. Yeah.
Yeah, with a young lady who had won the Michigan that year in Detroit.
Okay.
And that's when I first met Labrada because it was someplace down north. And that's when Kevin Lawrence and Diana Dennis was still, they were the top mixed pairs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought we should have beat them that show, but they allowed them to beat us by 1 point.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know you did mixed pairs. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I only did it twice. I did it with a young lady because everybody's talking about, man, what guy's big enough to do mixed pairs with this girl getting ready for the Michigan? Because this girl was amazing.
Really? Wow.
I mean, if she'd have stayed in bodybuilding, she'd have been a top dog. Because I trained Lenda Murray.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Lenda Murray came from your gym too, right? From
yeah.
Michigan. Yeah.
I'm the one that told her because, she was trying to be a cheerleader. And she went down to Dallas trying to be one of Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And when she came back, I said, don't worry about it, Lenda. I'm going to make you Miss Olympia. And I took her to her first Miss Olympia when Corey Everson stepped down.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's one that happened in New York that year.
Yeah.
And Lenda, I mean, she turned that Olympia out. Wow. I had never seen anybody. She had a routine that was out of this world, John.
Yeah.
Out of this world.
So she was never in Michigan that whole time when she was doing that.
Yes, she was still in Michigan. And when she stepped out there and put that routine on, I mean, that crowd never sat down.
Yeah, wow.
They stood up and screamed and hollered until she came back again and again.
Wow, no kidding.
And you know the rest of history from there.
Yeah. So when you saw her in the gym and she was just a beginner, you could see potential right away. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, but I never thought, the more I trained her, the more I saw the potential.
Yeah.
Because she was an athlete. She ran track.
Right.
She had some phenomenal legs. She had phenomenal upper body. She was just amazing. And she still is to this day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she was definitely, because I'm going to tell you something I really was surprised and disappointed about when they let, beat her.
Iris Kyle?
Iris Kyle, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
don't get me started, though.
I thought Lenda had a beautiful physique, just unbelievable.
Oh, she had an amazing physique. She really did. Yes.
So tell me about that first Olympia you did, Ron, in '86 in Columbus.
Oh, in Columbus, Ohio. That's the last one they had in Columbus.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, and I thought I was on point that day. I really thought I was on point. Actually, I had gained a lot more muscle, and I was really disappointed with my placing because I placed 8th, and I thought I should at least made the top 6.
Yeah,
I didn't see myself being out of the top 6.
Yeah,
and it was just I thought some of the guys who placed in front of me were overrated.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name them right now.
Back then, where they had certain guys they thought were going to be at the top.
Yes, they really did. But I was still just so elated because I got a chance to compete in the Mr. O. I mean, how many people get that?
I know.
And that was that first one. And from that point on, because I'm gonna tell you what really put me on the schedule.
Okay.
When I took second at the Night of the Champions, from that day forth, I was always invited to every show.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
To every show. I was always invited to do guest posing. From that day forth, I was guest posing almost every week.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty good poser. I put a little life into the routines and stuff like that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I competed in the '87 Southern States in Miami, and you were the guest poser there.
Oh, that's right. That's when who's that other kid competed from? The black kid that from out of the country. And he finally turned pro.
Jerome Charles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Darren Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was a good poser too.
Oh, he's a great poser, yeah.
He was a great poser, yeah. I remember him. Yeah. And then I remember the next year I came down to pose again, and that's when Sean Ray showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he had just got his pro card.
Right.
Yeah.
But you were in great shape in Miami when that Southern States. I got some pictures of you. I'll have to send them to you.
Please do. I like to see them. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So that Night of the Champions in '87, Strydom won, right? Strydom got first, and Mike Ashley was second. You were third.
Ain't nowhere in the world Mike Ashley should have beat me. He ain't never should have beat me. I hate to say it. I have nothing against Mike Ashley, but I don't think he had the symmetry I had. I don't think he had the quality I had.
Yeah.
The conditioning I had, and he's a little dude.
Yeah.
And you know what I do? You don't like getting beat by little dudes, and neither do I.
Yeah, you were one of the biggest guys in the pro circuit back then because you were tall and you had a lot of size, and you were always in condition too.
Yes, but I enjoyed it all. I mean, I had a chance to travel all over the world, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, when looking at your contest history here, I saw you did all those Grand Prix after the Olympia. So you traveled, like you said, you traveled all over France, Germany.
Yes.
Yeah, Spain.
But I'm gonna tell you, in '91, when I did the Olympia, it was in Orlando. I think it was in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, the last Lee Haney's last one. Yeah.
Yeah, Lee Haney's last one. Well, I placed.
Yeah, at 11th.
Yeah, and I got beat by 1 point by Richard Gasperi. And I was so disappointed because I was in great shape for that show. Also, too, the reason why I was disappointed because there's no comparison as far as our symmetry.
Yeah.
Richard Gasperi was not, he was blocking. And when I checked the score, they had him beating me in the symmetry round.
Yeah.
And I was really pissed off.
Yeah.
And I went on the European tour. I should have placed higher in that show. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I placed second, third, fourth, second.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yes. And I beat so many other guys who were in Olympia. How does that happen?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah. I just did an interview recently with LQ Gurley. And
LQ, that's my dog.
He said you were really welcoming to him when he got into the pros. You said, "Hey, welcome to the pros," and you were really nice to him.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But I treat everybody that way. It's an amazing thing when you get the opportunity to travel the world and meet people of all different cultures, of all different languages, of all different this.
Yeah.
I do the same thing here in this gym. I greet everybody here that comes in Powerhouse.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And the minute they walk through that door, I shake their hands, I hug them, I say, okay, we family.
Yeah.
So don't act like you're crazy.
Hey, Bob, when you were competing in all those shows, were you still a police officer or did you retire?
I was still a police officer.
Wow,
I didn't stop as a police officer until '93, and that's when I did my last Olympia. That was my last year.
Okay.
I didn't mean for it to be, but just some other things transpired, and that's the reason why at this time I want to come back and show people that I can still get in superb condition.
Okay.
Because I'm in pretty good condition right now at 70 years old.
Yeah.
Right now I'm stepping on the stage at I weigh myself today. I'm at 279.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
It is. All I want to do is make sure
with training, like nothing hurts really or anything. You're still able to train pretty heavy.
Yeah, still train pretty heavy, because I'm one of those control guys, Yeah. I remember when I went down and trained with with Big Ronnie, and those guys, all those fellas that when I was training with them, they said, they say you strong, but you don't move the kind of weight like we move. I said, because I don't train sloppy, No, I train with control,
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of throwing weight because that's how you get hurt.
Yeah, that's why you're still able to do it at 70.
Exactly. Because I do everything with control. Because the first thing you got to realize, you still got to display this sport as being healthy.
Yeah.
Not taking it to a point where you're getting hurt all the time, or you're not living the type of life that you need to live outside of this.
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm living an amazing life, man. I mean, every day, guys walk in this gym, and nobody gets how old I am. Nobody does.
No, nobody would.
And I'm not going to allow them to. In 30 years, I'll be 100 years old. And if I can look like I'm looking now in the next 30 years, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. I tell you, bodybuilding's the fountain of youth, isn't it? I mean,
it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have an issue about a few years ago. And what had happened was that I was teaching a boot camp. And I went out one day and I was doing jumping jacks. And when I came down, because I was actually training heavy that day, I was doing 500-pound squats, 2,000-pound leg presses. And I came out one day and I was doing jumping jacks. On the 15 jumping jacks, both my quads snapped.
No way, really?
Yes.
Wow. Oh,
they both snapped. And then when I finally got to the hospital and they did what they're supposed to do, I was bedridden for a year and a half.
Holy shit. They reattached your quads?
They reattached them.
Wow.
Yep. So now I'm trying to see how that's going to fare out as far as trying to get them ready for the show.
Yeah.
But they've improved, but I still want to make sure that
they look good. Yeah.
They look good. Because
same thing happened to LQ. He tore both of his.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he slipped on ice outside the Staples Center. He was going to see a basketball game, and that's why he retired. He tore both.
Oh my God! Because I tore both mine at the same time. I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah. That's no joke.
Wow.
Because I couldn't even get up and walk off the field. They had to pick me up because at that time I weighed about 320.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
when did this happen, Ron?
This happened about maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Oh, good. How are your leg workouts now?
Good and heavy. Well, you got so many different kind of machines, but I can still squat.
Yeah.
I can still leg press. I can do it all. But I haven't tried to get ready for a competition, so I'm gonna see what happens from this point.
Look, yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when LQ did his, it was probably in the 90s. So I'm sure it's way different now. I'm sure the medical procedures are much, much better now,
I hope so, because when I finished healing up, the first day I went to rehab, I got a blood clot.
Oh, really?
Yes. I had never hurt like that before. This is the first day I went to rehab.
Oh, really?
And if they hadn't sent me to the hospital quickly, because I had never been in pain, I probably wouldn't have made it.
Right.
That's how bad that blood clot was.
Yeah. That's what Flex Wheeler had. That's why he lost his leg.
Yeah. That's how he lost his leg.
Yeah.
And mine just, but I just give it to God, my brother, because God is taking care of me like unbelievable.
Yeah.
He has. Yep.
Yeah, I want to ask you a story, Ron, from the 89 Grand Prix after the Olympia. Mike Quinn told me a story about you and Phil Hill. You guys got Tell me what happened there.
Let me tell you what happened. After the show, I didn't place in the top 5. So, I came backstage. They had all the warm-up equipment, everything on the floor, and places like jam. And so And Rob, I joke with everybody. That's just me. Anybody that you meet is gonna tell you, well, Ron, you know, he jokes and plays and goofs off and boom, boom, boom. He's a nice guy. And Phil Hill, he didn't like this placing. So he rushes backstage and he comes in and he's looking around. He says, what time the bus gonna get? What time we gonna leave? I mean, he's got this attitude to the hilt. You know, I look at him, I said, well, I looked around. I said, I don't see no windows. I don't see no walls. I don't see no doors. I don't know how you're going to get out of here. But what that got to do with me? So I'm walking away. Next thing I know, this dude jumps me from behind and starts swinging.
Wow.
Yes. I'm saying, whoa. That ain't that serious. So I turn around and he's swinging at me. So I start swinging back. Boom, boom, boom. Mike Quinn jumps in to help me.
Right.
You know. Because this Phil here, I mean, he cool, and he's swinging me like this, like a sissy. Because I actually thought he was gay anyway, you know. I hate to say it, but I'm just being real. And we just going at it. We going at it. And the thing that really ticked me off, because I was scheduled to do a photo shoot, because I was trying to do this training video, you know, trying to make a training over so I can make some money.
Yeah.
And we kept going at it, and boom, 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 boom. But we was throwing down. And Mike is in there with me. Mike,
what did Mike do? He tried to break it up?
Yeah. He jumped in, but he was getting hit too, because I was swinging. Hit him a couple of times mistakenly.
That's what he told me. He goes, he got hit with one of your punches. He said you hit like a mule.
Yeah, I know. But I wasn't trying to hit him, though.
Right.
He just got in the way. But we went on.
What happened?
Well, because they had it on camera too there. And from there, when I got home, everybody's calling me about it. Boom, boom, boom. I said, tell you what, the next show we do, just make sure they got a ring there, because after the show is over, we gonna thump. He never showed up for another show.
Oh, really? Wow.
Never. I mean, he never did. So I said, game accomplished. Yeah. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I'd have saw him, Rob, I can't use foul language. I was gonna beat his butt. But that guy he had awesome physique. I don't care what nobody says. That boy had awesome physique.
I think I've got the videotape from that contest, and you could see him on stage at the prejudging. He looked like he was kind of agitated, like I don't know if
he had an attitude. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of times I was agitated where I thought I should have been in the money.
Yeah.
Because when we talked about the 91, remember when I went on the 91 tour, I was beating everybody. The only person who beat me was Vince Taylor.
Oh, Vince Taylor, yeah.
And there was a few shows I thought I should have beat Vince in that shows.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that, because I took second behind him like in 4 or 5 shows.
Yeah, you got second in Finland, Italy, Spain, and Switzerland.
Yes.
4 shows.
And I thought at least in a couple of those shows I should have beat Vince. But I know they won't let me beat him because he plays in the top 6 at the Olympia.
Yeah.
I placed 14th.
Yeah, he got 3rd at the Olympia. Yeah. Remember? He got behind Haney and Dorian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's the name of the game. That's how they play the politics. But
why did you decide to stop competing, Ron, in 93, after 93?
Well, I was trying to do some things to help my family out, because I did pretty good financial wise.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to take a little break, because I was so disappointed at what happened in that 93 Olympia and the tour. Because I thought that I was in pretty good condition on the tour, and I thought I should have placed a little bit better than what I did, Yeah. And then when I went on the European tour, I didn't place in the money at all, not one time.
Yeah.
Not one time. They was always. It's like they always overlooked me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I was the best bodybuilder, but I thought I stood on stage with some of those guys. I thought I could have been, right there in the money.
Yeah. And you also won that San Jose Pro in 91. That was before the Olympia, right?
That was before the Olympia. Yeah, I won that.
And then you was Niagara Falls Pro in 89. So you did.
Yes, I did real good.
Yeah.
Yep. So I knew I could win shows.
You did a lot of contests, Ron. I'm looking at your career.
I know. I did them all.
You did all those Grand Prix every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
But I felt like if I was going to be a bodybuilder, I'm here to compete.
Right.
Also, too, what it allowed me to do was always stay in shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, I was still teaching at the police academy. So I was running with classes every day. You know, I was teaching martial arts. I was doing all the calisthenics. I used to work out with every class. I would come to the gym, do my first workout at 5 in the morning. I would leave here and go to the police academy at 8 in the morning, and I would train 6 classes a day. I would run 2 miles with each class. That's 12 miles a day I was running.
12 miles a day, yeah.
But I was eating anywhere between 5,000 to 6,000 to 7,000 calories every day, and it worked. It kept me in condition.
Jeez.
You know?
So that's what you were doing. You were working for the police academy. You were off the street at that point, huh? With the police.
Yeah, I was off the street at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. I was trying to teach the knuckleheads how to be police the right way.
Right.
And treat people the way they don't realize that your job is to protect and serve every individual out there. That's your job. It's not the judge.
Yeah.
You know, these knuckleheads today don't realize that.
Yeah.
Hope they get their head together. Yeah.
Before I let you go, Ron, I want to throw out a few names at you, and you could give me your thoughts on these guys that you competed with.
Okay.
First one is Lee Haney. What did you think of Lee Haney?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing young man. I mean, he's at one of the Olympias. I'm trying to think this Olympia. Which one was it? It was the one in '87.
Yeah.
And that's when I came in. I thought I came in great shape.
You were in great shape in that. I remember that.
Lee Haney and his wife said to me, and it calmed me. Lee Haney said, Ron, he said, today you're going to be second or third. And this is going to be the best you've ever placed.
Wow.
That's what Lee Haney and his wife both told me.
Yeah.
I was so gratified.
Yeah.
But you know, I placed 9th in that show.
Yeah, that was. I remember that show because I don't know if you remember this. They used to have. This was before it was on cable TV or anything. They had a closed circuit. We went to a theater, I think, and watched it.
Yes, that's what
they were doing. From the gym, went to this theater, and they broadcast it live from Sweden. And everybody there was impressed with you, Ron. Everybody was like, "Wow, man, Ron Love looks great." And we couldn't believe when you placed that low.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I placed that low.
Yeah, because you was in outstanding condition.
I appreciate that. I really do, because that was one of the shows where I really thought, and I was so devastated because here I got Mr. Olympia telling me that I should be right there in the thick of things, you know.
Right.
And it didn't happen. You know, I said, what is, and it really put a bad taste in my mouth as far as with the Weeders.
Yeah.
Because the Weeders was sending me all over the world to meet people, to represent bodybuilding, you know. But at the same time, they were just playing games, you know, and I thought it was so unfair, you know.
You were working for the Weeder organization back then?
I did a lot of things for the Weeders, yeah. Because they would send you all over the place and wouldn't pay you a dime.
Damn, yeah.
I remember they sent us, was it Helsinki, Finland?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Helsinki, it was Budapest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a whole group of us sent. And when we got there, we were representing bodybuilding. We were putting on some shows. And after everything was over, we're in this hotel. And little Canadian guy, I can't remember his name, he couldn't pay for his room.
Okay.
So I paid for his room. I never got paid back from him.
Right.
I can't think of his name right now. But
Brisbois?
they weren't going to let, Steve Brisbois.
Okay.
Yeah, I had some running with him too.
Oh, really?
But the part that really agitated was with me that he wasn't able to pay for his room, and they wasn't going to let us come back home there. They wasn't going to let us leave the country unless we paid for that hotel. So I came up with the money to pay for this hotel room. You know, why didn't the Weeders do that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't care what nobody think, I don't care what nobody say about me talking about the Weeders. I'm just telling it like it is.
Right.
You know, I'm being a man and telling like it is. If anybody got anything to say to me, he got my number. Call me. All right? Then we can talk on this too.
Right.
because I had a lot of love for the Weeders, but they just wasn't supportive enough for the guys who were representing them in every kind of way.
Yeah.
So,
what'd you think of Vince Taylor?
Vince Taylor?
Yeah.
Vince Taylor rocks the house, baby. I love Vince.
Yeah.
You know, there's times when I thought I should have been right there with him.
Yeah.
I thought I could compete. I was kind of disappointed that I didn't place better in some of the shows, you know, especially when it came to Olympia, especially when it came in the European tour shows, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you bust your butt to be there just like everybody else. Just give me my proper results, my proper respect, you know. But Vince was great.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did the audience love him, I loved him. That guy to this day.
Right.
I think he's one of the best guys, man. He's great personality. I mean, just a great guy, man. Just a great guy. Yeah.
What about Lee Labrada? We talked a little bit about him. What do you think of Lee?
Awesome. Me and Labrada were friends before I even stepped on stage. Lee Labrada brought me down to his hometown.
No kidding.
I mean, gave me so much love in every kind of way.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome physique, but we were competitors. I just thought that I was a big guy. He was a little guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't care what nobody said. Don't no big guy like getting beat by a little guy.
Right.
But awesome performer.
Yeah.
I mean, an awesome young man. He really is. I mean, I love him to death.
Yeah.
And his son, hey, that boy doing good. He's come along real well.
What about Mike Quinn?
Mike Quinn, that's my dog now. That's my dog. We warriors together. I love Mike Quinn. I mean, he's a beast.
Yeah.
He's a beast. You know, if you're going to train with somebody, that's the kind of guy you want to train with. Because you know you're going to get it done.
Right.
Yes, a lot of respect for him. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah. I think he's going through some tough times now, but I'm
sure.
Yeah,
I heard he was.
Yeah.
But if you talk to him, tell him I miss him, I love him.
Okay.
You know, that's my boy. If he needs anything he needs from me, he got it.
Okay. What about Robby Robinson?
Robby Robinson. Let me tell you about Robby. There was one year, this before I turned pro, I went to Columbus, Ohio for the Olympia.
Okay.
And you know, when I first saw Robby, I just thought he was just I thought he had already should have won the Olympia. I thought he was just so amazing, you know. I mean, he was one of the best I ever seen. I mean, this guy was, I mean, he was my hero.
Yeah.
I'm waiting around for him to come to the auditorium. You know, I done brought my jacket, I done brought my pants, I done brought my underwear, I done brought everything for him to sign.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how much this guy was just so amazing to me.
Yeah.
So when he got there, he comes into the auditorium, and I'm saying, Robby. I said, hey, Robby, I need for you to sign this for me. I need for you to sign it. And he looks at me and says, I ain't got time. I said, what you mean you ain't got time? I said, I'm the police, bro. You better sign my stuff. Boom, 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 boom. You better sign this. No, I didn't come all this way to see you, and you ain't gonna do this. I mean, I was so disappointed with him. And he didn't sign anything.
No kidding. Oh,
he didn't sign it. He just kept walking. But let me tell you what happened. When I did the Night of Champions, you saw the video with the one he's in. That's my second Night of Champions.
Right.
So we at the meeting, and I walk into the meeting. Everybody says, oh, my God, Big Round Love. Big Round coming to bum. And then I hear this, Big Round Love, how you doing? It's Robby. And so I said, Robby. Oh, yeah, Robby Robinson. Yeah, I know who you are, man. Yeah. Yeah. I said, Robby, step over here for a second. I got something to tell you, bro. I told him the story. So Robby said, I did that to you? I said, yeah, don't worry about today because I'm going to beat you today. That's exactly what I told him.
And you did?
I did beat him that day.
You beat him, yeah, right.
Yeah, but Robby's a great guy, man. He's more of a loner, you know. He's just to himself.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah. He's a little different, but he's a good guy. I like Robby.
Yeah.
I didn't like him that day though. I drove all the way down there to see this dude.
Yeah. What about Gary Strydom?
I like Gary. Gary. I didn't get a chance because that day of the show, I thought I could have beat him that day too, because
87.
I didn't think his back compared to mine, you know.
Right. Yeah, his back was a little weak.
It's weak. It wasn't just a little weak. It was real weak. You know.
That was really nice.
Yeah, I know you were. I know you ain't blind. But other than that, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he was a good guy. He was okay.
How about Mike Christian?
That's my main guy, bro. I have much love for Mike Christian. I just hated the things that happened to him because I thought he was right in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But he was too busy on that line of trying things and doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a great physique, you know. But, you know, guys got to realize you got to stay within the lines.
Yeah.
You can't do things that's going to harm you, you know. And I just watched him because, you know, when he switched over to that organization that Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went to that second show, man. And I'd never seen him like that before. And that shouldn't happen. The sport of bodybuilding is still a very healthy sport.
Yeah.
Let everybody represent it the way that it's supposed to be represented, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we have to realize how we influence other people out here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, yes, because I'm just looking at what has happened since I did Dave's show. I've gotten contacted from people all over the world, you know, and everybody that I talked to has said, "Mom, thank you for, you know, being a great influence. You know, thank you for being such a nice guy. You know, thank you for representing bodybuilding in a healthy way, you know."
Yeah, yeah.
Because look how many bodybuilders have passed away.
Oh, recently, yeah.
Recently.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, you know.
I know.
Yes. So we got to do what we got to do to represent something that we love so much.
Absolutely.
So that people also look at us in the way that we're supposed to be looked at.
Yeah.
And respected.
Yeah.
But we got to respect them also.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to get out of here because the gym getting ready to close.
Oh, okay, Ron. All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much for spending the time with us, Ron, and it was a great pleasure talking to you.
It was a great pleasure talking to you. It's good to see you again, man.
Good to see you too, brother.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I wish you the best this year, and thanks again for joining us on the Bodybuilding Legends Podcast.
Thank you too. All right.
All right, brother. Take care. I hope to see you
too.
Soon. All right.
Much love, my brother.
All right. Take care.
Okay.